It's time for Gino Spot. That's right. Gino Spot. Let's get funky.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Have a drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino Shot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Oh, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6:30. It is 6:30, and it is indeed a Tuesday. Tuesday, we are here for Gino Spot again because Tuesday these days it's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then we rebroadcast on Saturdays. Our Thursday show gets rebroadcast on Saturdays as well. So make sure that you have subscribed to the YouTube channel, which is YouTube.com/Gino Spot, and then you can subscribe, and then you click the bell, and then the ding, and then it reminds you, ding, oh yeah, Gino Spot, it's coming up. And obviously we see you on Facebook as well. Welcome if you have not been on Gino Spot before, or if you have, we welcome you back as well, because we like for people to pop back. And we know Wendy Swannell has been on as well. She is in Tsitsikamma, is that right, Wendy? I think she's in the Tsitsikamma area, and she always says hello. Fantastic. And of course this week we have Lloyd Edwards is on, the Raggy Charters guy. We're going to be talking about sharks and whales and mentalist. He's the mental part of environmentalist, indeed. And so we're going to have some fun tonight chatting about that too. Thank you to our sponsors, of course, always Fitch and Leeds and Spa, our two main sponsors. They are always there for us every single week, and we've got about 240 something shows now. Ooh, that's unbelievable. So thank you to our main sponsors. Also, of course, our guys like Fat Cats who help us out with our food every now and again. There's some Grace. We love Grace because she always makes such nice food. In fact, we've almost chowed the whole lot before the show even started. And then also, of course, Amobia, our internet. Amobia is our fantastic internet guys Nicola and the guys there have been absolutely fantastic. They've helped us out. And you know what it's like with internet. That's never a smooth ride, but I tell you, it's the smoothest ride we've had with any internet provider up until now. So thank you to Nicola and the crew from Amobia. Amobia. It's not like amoeba. No, it's Amobia. All right. And then obviously, we've got a little bit of punters here from Keith Clark. Keith Casey was on the show a little while ago, and he's got the punters, and he's got a 1906 brandy as well here. We've got a whole lot of dop, and so we never go thirsty or hungry in this place. I'm wearing the zebra suit tonight as well. Hello from Kariga. Excellent. I'm glad from Kariga because I'm wearing the zebra suit as well. There's a purple zebra in the studio with me. Yes, this is the vibe. I thought we'd go environmental vibe. So, it's a zebra. It's a zebra. In fact, this shirt I found in the back, and I discovered that it's actually got place for for boobs. So I think this is a female. This is a woman's one. That's obviously probably Donna or Tara or somebody from one of the shows. I don't know why they would have been wearing, but it's clearly supposed to be cleavage. I'm just giving a bit of hairy cleavage. How about that? Huh? How sexy is that? Yes, Wendy, that's indeed correct. Tucked away in the Tsitsikamma. It is so beautiful out there, and I know Ermin de Villiers is out there too with the Tsitsikamma Lodge, I think it is called, and a nice little community there as well going. Fantastic. Camilla Ellis, hi guys, eventually took down the Christmas tree today. Oh no! In the competition with Darren Fuller. I bet you that Darren Fuller hasn't even taken hers down. I bet you. And and Camilla Ellis, of course, at the library, Walmer Library, which is we hope is still intact after seeing the newspaper today with all the libraries that are being trashed. It's like the Huns pulling into to Rome again. You know, it's all over. They're attacking libraries. Oh no, I don't know. You know, we just have to try and get through these things. The Motherwell Library, I think, today was in pieces. So, yes, I'm glad to have you all online. Let me sing a song for you and get you into the mood. Ursula Roberts, hello, Ursula. Hello, Ursh. Nice to see you. You're looking like the Lion King tonight, she says. That's right. Oh, that's right. Welcome to Gino Spot, ladies and gentlemen. We'll sing you into the show. Ursula Roberts in the house, and Sean Sullivan says, how's it, Glenn? The Webster's looking rosy. That's right. Says, help Gino and friends, spiffy Alfred. And Brandon Kelly. He's watching in his car. Hopefully he's not driving past Colbert. That's right. Miranda Ferreira. Lots of R's in that one. She says I'm very, very sexy. That's right, Miranda. Camilla Ellis says the library's still there, right next to the little robots and riding track. Woo! And Clan says a hello, a not help tonight. And Ursula says that I'm the Tiger King. I don't know whether that's mentally or what. Oh, Marjorie Moore. Hello, Marjorie. Your name sounds like butter, but not butterelli, no. Brian Wilkinson is here. Good evening, Gino. And Garth Sampson is trying to tell us about rain. Oh, he said, how's it, Lloyd, you old bugger? I'm not gonna expand what that bugger means. Oh, and Wendy says, honky tonk purple cat. That's right, I'm your cat. Oh, watching from Bridgend in Wales too. John Mann says hello to Aaron Sean from Lockenberg. How's it, G? They're hanging, they're hanging. That's right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are into the show now. We are going to, we haven't had a nice what you're watching for a while from Darren Fuller. So we're going to get Darren right on board. Let's see what she has. And I knew your Christmas tree was there still. I can see it in the background.
Oh, yeah, no, Camilla, I'm winning that competition, unfortunately, like in a big way. Big way, yes.
Oh, my word, Darren, that's lovely. I love your ears. Oh, I don't know which ones are you. You got 4 ears. Like school. At school, it's not 4 ears, 4 ears.
I'm hoping Disney doesn't sue, but...
no. Maybe Facebook. You never know with Meta now, eh? It's called
Disney is
Zuckerberg's.
scarier than Meta. Disney is
Really?
scarier.
Oh,
They
that's
own,
scary.
they own everything.
Oh, my word. So they're going to be checking out. They send out their spies to come check out your ears. That's
They
it.
probably
They're gonna
own
be-
you.
Darren, tell us what we should be watching.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so this week, I finally got to watch The Eternals, yet another Marvel film. So I actually knew nothing about The Eternals, and obviously I will not give any spoilers, but the premise, of course, is that the Eternals are these immortal superheroes that were sent to the Earth to protect it. So there have been a lot of questions after it came out, if you haven't seen it yet, like, that's great, immortal superheroes sent here to, take care of the Earth. What were you doing when Thanos was here, destroying half of the universe? But in any case, you do kind of get an explanation for that. But anyway, guys, so these immortals were sent to our planet to protect us from these particular aliens that are trying to chomp all of us. So it was fantastic. The cast is stellar. It is amazing. It is Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, Gemma Chan, Kit Harington. It's like half of the Game of Thrones cast is in it. It's fantastic. It is such a good movie. Please do watch that. There were some negative reviews around it. I honestly don't know why. I really, really enjoyed it. It's just really good. I mean, who doesn't love superheroes? Okay, so that was Eternals. And then, there's a new series on Netflix called Archive 81. Guys, I absolutely loved the series. I haven't finished it yet, but it's just it's the perfect combination of freaky ass spookiness. I love spookiness. So Archive 81, there's this guy, and he fixes videotape. He basically fixes things that are broken, photos, videotape, etc. I kind of wondered if I shouldn't have gone into that. Anyway, so this guy, he gets this call from this particular company that have like 10 DVDs that were ruined in a fire, but they want to see if he can fix them and watch them. But of course, he can only watch them in this creepy, isolated secret building that they have out in the middle of nowhere. But so he goes there and he starts fixing these tapes, and he's watching this woman from, I don't know, I would assume like 15 years earlier, and she's trying to do something for her degree, and she's looking into this really old building, and she's meeting all the residents in this building, and it's just amazing. It messes with time, with the connection between the two of them. It is just fantastic, guys. It's so creepy. So creepy. And if you like to be confused, I feel confused fairly often, but this particular series is very confusing in a good way. So do watch this. It's ghostly. It's just very good. Okay, and then Manifest. I must admit, I have not watched much of it. It's my dad and his girlfriend were raving about it, so I'm assuming that it is. You will like it too. So Manifest is a group of people. They get on a plane and they're like, oh, this is great. This is pre-COVID. It's easy to get on a plane. And then all of a sudden when they land, they've been gone for like how many years? So it is a very good premise, and I must actually also continue watching it. So do give that a shot. And of course, the people that return, they've missed a few years, but also they've, gained a few special things. Anyway, it's very interesting, very good. I suppose it's very Lost-ish, or the 4400 if you watch those. So do look into that. And then also we watched this fantastic movie, which I've been hearing about for years and had no idea that it was even released yet, which is called Chaos Walking, with Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley from Star Wars, and Mads Mikkelsen, who was the latest version of Hannibal in the series. So it's just, I absolutely adore this premise. It's so fantastic. So we start off on this planet, and Tom Holland is our protagonist. And basically, every single person, whatever they're thinking, you can see whatever they're thinking and hear whatever they're thinking. So don't think anything bad. You have no secrets on this planet. And there are no women women were murdered. Apparently, we're all dead. We don't exist. Ugh. So all of a sudden, Daisy Ridley crash lands on this planet, and Tom Holland finds her, and he's like, "My goodness, it's a girl. I've never seen a girl." And as you can imagine, chaos ensues. Chaos walking. So anyway, Tom Holland tries to assist Daisy Ridley, and it's so good. The acting's amazing. Tom Holland is so lovely, as we all know, Spider-Man. Daisy Ridley's amazing. Mads Mikkelsen is scary as he always is. It's such a good movie. So good. Do watch that. And then just a last mention, the Times Square killer crime scene. As you know, I love Disney and murder, but I watched it as soon as it came out. It came out a few weeks ago, I think. I do love a good murder documentary, you know, as most of us do. But the Times Square killer, so there are, I think, about 3 or 4 episodes. The majority of the episodes are pretty much showing you how dodgy as heck Times Square was in the 70s. I mean, damn, guys. I don't want to tell you. Watch the documentary, rather, but let's just say a lot of things were accessible all the time in the streets. Anyway, so during this cesspit of debauchery, the Times Square killer did attack a few people within this period of time. It is a very good documentary to watch. So yes, do watch that. Do watch that. I've never been to Times Square, but that Times Square looked kind of creepy. So anyway, guys, that's me for the week. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. I like that. Philip is watching. What's that? The one of the airplane.
Manifest.
Lose 6 years. They lose 6 years of their life. Yes, Manifest.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yes.
It's very, very nice.
I love the premise. I don't know why I stopped watching it, but I know that my dad. Yes, I loved Lost.
It is a bit like Lost. And Lost, we watched like 50 million series of Lost as well.
I will watch more. Oh, and just a question to Lloyd when he is on. You know how much I love anglerfish, and I'm pretty sure he's never found one because they're at the depth of the ocean. Yes.
Oh, no. I'll ask him.
Just in case he knows anyone who's ever found one. I know you won't find a live one, but if you found like a dead one on the beach or something, just a question.
Okay, we'll find, and then we'll stuff it and send it to you in the post.
Thank you.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, ciao, bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get our guest onto the show. Indeed, he's been waiting patiently backstage, and let's start out with a bit of a video to show you what he's all about. Yeah. Incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, Lloyd Edwards, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Great.
Fantastic to have you on. It's been a while. We're trying to get you. You're we're running all over the place. Namibia or something.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But Darren was asking about anglerfish. Is it anglerfish?
Yes, anglerfish. So that's a little fish that has a little wand and it's got a piece of skin on it, and it attracts the other little fish, and then it opens its mouth and it consumes everything.
Chows them.
And
how big are they?
Well,
Little ones.
you know, there's friends of mine that actually caught some in Port Elizabeth in the old Seaview swimming pool. The Matlock, Richard Matlock and his dad Roger.
Yeah.
You catch them when they're very small. They float along with the weeds, and they're brought down by the current from East Africa.
Yes.
And in summer, when you get the westerly winds bringing them in, and then in winter, of course, they die because the water gets cold. And these guys catch them, they keep them in their tanks. So we've got quite a few from Port Elizabeth.
So they're tropical.
They're tropical.
But does it light up, that little piece of skin?
I don't know.
So it's a little bait, like actual bait. Like you can't believe it that a living creature would develop that over so many years, like a fishing rod.
Oh, amazing. Really cool.
So there we go, Darren Fuller. And in Namibia, you were up in Namibia now recently. What were you doing in Namibia?
Well, it was kind of the end of our. We do every year. We welcome the humpback whales to Southern Africa.
Okay.
We started 4 years ago. We started the project off in Port Elizabeth.
Yes.
We had the then Athol Trollop that supported us.
Yes.
And basically, what happens is that the humpback whales, we've used them as an example. They feed in the Antarctic, the southern oceans.
Okay.
They feed on krill, which is prevalent there in the
Is plankton the same as
plankton.
krill? Okay.
Yeah, well, krill is animal plankton.
Oh, okay, a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Couple of
like a
planktons
prawn,
together.
like a prawn. It's more like a prawn. Plankton just means drifts in the sea, so it drifts.
Oh, okay.
So the humpback whales feed on that, and then the female needs to give birth. And in those conditions, it's 2 degrees Celsius, and baby whales are born with no blubber, no insulating blubber, so they would die immediately after a few minutes. So the females have to swim all the way up to the African coastline, and they hit the coast around about Neisner.
Yeah, okay.
Some go up East Africa as far as Kenya, have their calves there. Some go all the way up to Gabon. Okay. So what we do is, as the whales move up the coast of Africa, so we have these Welcoming the Whales festivals. And then I explain that the humpback whales are the most cosmopolitan of any whale. They're found in all the oceans. They've got the longest migration. I mean, they go from the South Pole to Nicaragua, Costa Rica. I mean, that's across the equator. It's huge.
Yeah.
And they were almost wiped out from the whaling fleet in Durban. They were they started in 1910. The Norwegians came here and showed us how to do it.
Really?
And I think they killed 250,000 whales in the southern hemisphere from all the operations. And in 1960, when I was born, there were very few left, a couple of hundred, and that's when conservationists said, stop. We can't carry on. They're going to become extinct. And of course, it wasn't profitable anymore. So there was a paradigm shift. That's all it was. People decided, stop killing whales. And guess what?
Save the whale. That was the
Their numbers have gone from almost nothing back to pre-exploitation numbers. By 2017, they'd bounced back. No one thought it was possible. So here we are. So this is where we are with plastic pollution in the marine environment, with climate change. We at that threshold where we have to stop. We've got to change.
So it was a paradigm shift. So Wales is really a success story.
Totally. Well, they haven't all they haven't all bounced back like the humpback whales, but the southern rights are doing fairly well. The blue whales are coming back. The fin whales. Stuff is
blue
coming
whales
back
as well, because that's the big one.
Yes, the biggest. Yeah, the biggest.
The biggest whale. I know that from Clarendon Park.
Named after a mouse. Which is about this big. Musculus is the dormouse from Europe.
Oh no way.
I think Linnaeus had a bit of a joke at the time, and he called the blue whale Balanoptera musculus.
Okay. Oh wow.
After the little mouse.
But I mean, I still hear things about Japan. Is that dolphins or what? I mean,
look, Japan are still hunting
whales.
They drive the dolphins up into those coves.
Yes.
But you see that the thing with that is the biggest price that are paid for live dolphins is for the shows, is for dolphinarium around the world. That is why we cannot go back. Port Elizabeth cannot go and put dolphins back here, because it's aquarium that supply the demand for live animals. So those live animals are sold to Mexico, for example, for $500, but the meat's only worth $50. So that's why we cannot have whales and dolphins in aquaria performing for our enjoyment.
For what?
In these controlled little environments that are a killer whale, for example. I saw them when I was in America. Their daily range is hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. It doesn't matter how big their tank is. That animal is getting demented,
in a small little cage, basically. Caged animals. It's funny how there is a shift. I mean, happening. I mean, the whole thing within the 60s and the 50s, that everybody in the 70s up to the 80s, I think, even the 90s, I'm sure we had the dolphins here. I can't remember when the dolphins left. It was probably early 2000s.
Yes, somewhere there.
Dolly and now dolphins. But, loved seeing the dolphin because you just so love it and it's amazing.
Big smile,
Yeah, those those animals are incredible, but you slowly realize, hang on, this is all now it's consumerism, you know. the
Yeah.
whole thing.
And people, what they don't know about the Port Elizabeth dolphins, you know how many they killed before they got some to survive there?
Really?
They had a whole lot of humpback dolphins, which are now endangered. They used to put them in, some of them would die in the nets when they caught them. Some of them would die on the way to Bay World.
Yeah.
Other ones would die in the pool. Others would jump out the pool and die. The dusky dolphins from Cape Town, they also weren't suitable.
Yeah.
And they killed many, many dolphins. And that's not much as known about
How are the dolphin populations doing in the bay?
I've been doing Raggy Charters for 25 years now. I've never seen so many dolphins.
Really?
The increase is massive.
That's fantastic.
It's, in 2016 we launched a project to have Algo Bay declared as the bottlenose dolphin capital of the world.
Yeah.
And we didn't take it lightly. I went around the world with the World Cetacean Alliance, these guys here.
Yeah, okay.
We look after whales and dolphins around the world.
Okay.
And I went and asked around the world, and the closest that somebody got to having as many dolphins as was someplace in Australia who had 6,000 dolphins for 6 months of the year. Wow. We've got 28,500 bottlenose dolphins that use our bay. That is huge.
Isn't
and
it
it's
amazing?
Increasing. The babies, we were out now yesterday. Every time you see it, there's a little calf. So, we really live up to that name. We see them on 99% of our tours.
Okay,
we always find them somewhere. We've got the cetacean spotters all the way along the coast.
Yes.
Which call us in if we haven't seen any.
Okay.
And we're getting PE. We must be proud of that.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing?
It's
that we've got
crazy.
this place?
Tourists go mental.
Yeah, PE's got so much potential. We're saying, we've got everything here. It's got the sea, we've got we've got the game farms. The Karikas and the Shamaris and the all these game farms around here are phenomenal. Even and then the bay, you go out in the bay, and then there's these 28,000 dolphins in that bay.
We're working with the game farms. We've launched a new product. We've just recently started the shark cage diving.
Okay, yes.
Which is at Bird Island. So it's a hard ask. It's 33 miles. Nautical miles to Bird Island and Bay. So it's a full day tour.
That's 33 over.
It's about 65 kilometers.
65.
And it's right on the edge of the bay. So, we looked at that for a long time because there's a lot of opposition to shark cage diving.
Yes,
because
you're chumming in the water. So,
we had public meetings. We have to be transparent. But I went and did all the science.
Okay.
And when you've done all the science about sharks and you see how much good has been done by the operators from a research point of view, we're researching them better, we're educating the public that these are not just these horrible animals that must be wiped out. The science says they don't associate boats and chumming with people, and we're putting in a little block we wanted to actually play music. Okay. And then people said, no, you can't do music because what's it going to affect the other animals? I went all the way to Australia to find the guys that play AC/DC to sharks. And they attract them with the music, although it's a little bit dodgy because there's other two boats around that are also chumming.
Chumming too. Okay, I see.
So,
I see Terry Omerl on there saying, she was at tourism, I think.
Yeah, she was. She always helps us along the way. She gets the odd boat cruise.
In fact, if I'm not correct, I think Terry was the one that sent me a message originally, probably about a year ago, saying I must get you on, and we've been trying for that long. There you go. Caroline Morgan, always so interesting, that Lloyd is, she says. And Caroline's just up the road here as well.
Don't mention any of the girlfriends on there, please.
Oh, no, we'll try and keep the girlfriends off here now. But Caroline, and there we go. There's LaRue Messenger saying, hello everyone, let's download Lloyd and feel satisfied.
That goes back a while.
He said, just got a little bit of scotch here. We got him on the Fitch and Leeds as well, but it's only for the soda water. That's all we got him on here. Once Lloyd made a dolphin slot machine in Durban. It didn't win anything. Oh my word! So I see some of your friends on here. I see you.
Looks like I haven't got my glass.
Some of the people that have been on the thing. Barbara Manor is connected to everybody in this town, apparently. Barbara is if you don't know Barbara, you should get to know, because she knows everybody in this town. Give me a freebie for shark, get it at Garth. I don't know, bro. To get in the water with that shark,
We can do some trading with the good weather updates, maybe.
Yes, so with the weather updates, we make
when those big wests come through, God,
Yes,
you don't want to come back from Bird Island in the west.
God Webster saying, so why is the side from KwaZulu-Natal called Dolphins? Why is that called Dolphins? You mean that side from KZN? It should be called Sharks, you mean? I think so. But now, and what about the shark populations here as well? Those are also growing, or?
Yeah, well, we the only people besides Mossel Bay at the moment that have white sharks here, because the 3 operators in False Bay, that's from Simonstown, and the 8 operators out of Gansbaai, they don't have any white sharks, because we have these 2 killer whales, which are, I'm sure they're subspecies, they're a different one, they're called port and starboard. And the ones dorsal fin, they normally got these big bends over to the left, and the other one bends over to the right.
Oh wow!
And they specialize in sharks. So what they do, the 2 of them, they get even up to a 5 meter one. They turn it, and when you hold a shark upside down, it stops moving.
Oh, okay.
And then they grab the pectoral fins.
Yeah.
They know that because they've measured the compression on the fins, and they rip the whole body cavity open.
What?
Out it comes, and all they suck out is the liver.
Really?
Just rip the liver out. And the minute that they attack and kill a white shark, all the other sharks leave the area. They just disappear. In fact, one got such a fright. You know where it went to? Perth in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, when all the
Shark.
they tracked it, a great white. They tracked it all the way across the Indian Ocean to Perth. So those killer whales have destroyed the business in Gansbaai, and those are multi-million rand businesses.
Sure,
so we got the shock. So we would have got all those customers. And guess what happened?
What?
COVID.
Oh, of course. So
we had the sharks. Yeah, we've had the sharks, and we haven't been able to capitalize.
Oh, that's quite hectic to think that the sharks are coming here now, because I know East London has always been a shark spot.
They've always been there. No, they've always been here because they're seals.
Okay,
People think that you're going to attract sharks with chum to the island. You're not.
Yeah.
They're there to eat
seals.
the seal pups when they're learning to swim. They whack them because it's easy meat. And when the seals have gone, they leave. So all you're doing is you're attracting that shark from the bottom, which may be 14 meters, to the top where you can see it.
Okay.
And since we've got to know these sharks, we've actually run a very big campaign last year.
Yeah.
We've had there's 2 boats in Port Elizabeth that do long lining for sharks. It's called Dermisol long line. So they set these lines and they catch every single shark in the area just about. All right.
Really?
They rip these sharks out. They set these lines. They come on board. The heads cut off. The guts are taken out. The fins go to the east for shark fin soup, which has got no nutritional value.
Yeah.
Just gives it consistency. And guess where the meat goes to?
Yeah.
It goes to Australia. So I went to Australia to go and investigate that.
Yeah.
And there you go, flake and chips. Flake and chips on just about every corner in some of the time. Flake and chips. It's our sharks, all right? Our sharks are going down Australian dunnies.
So these are boats that are coming in from Oz and
our boats.
Our boats.
Coming in with these soup fin and smooth hound. That's what they know in certain sizes.
If there's a market for it, that's the thing. If there's a market, they'll do it. It's like the pearly poachers as well, same story.
Yeah, so what we did is we started a petition with a Renell friend, got that whole thing up and going, and we sent it to the minister. We got 33,000 signatories, and you know what Minister Creasy did?
Right.
She said that you've got a point.
Yeah.
They set up a 9-member panel, 6 scientists, 3 administrators, to review the whole Dermisol shark long lining industry. They wanted to put observers on board. They wanted to have stock limits, certain sizes, closed seasons, and all of that. So, if you stand together and you can do it. Look what happened with the seismic surveys. The whole country got on board, the legal guys got on board. We raised money. So we still have a power, and that's why we do projects like. If we didn't do shark cage diving, we wouldn't have known about.
And there's obviously a community of an industry of stuff that you guys, people that do similar stuff to you as well. I just saw Addo Cruises and Sand Sledding here saying, IG Captain Les Kingma from Sunday's River Ferry.
Oh my gosh, the bonsai boy.
Yes, that's the dune sledding. Eh? I've seen that. That looks amazing.
Oh, it's
The
very, very
dunes
nice.
out
So
there.
you've got a good operation.
Yeah, and then you go across, you go down that dune, and then you hit the water and skid across the water.
Take off, yeah.
Yeah. And see, hi Lloyd. Lloyd's son and my daughter are partners. Oh, really, Wendy? I see out there at Tsikama. Wildly Africa says, hi Lloyd, what's the news on fish farms? Oh, yes. Tell us, have you got any updates on that? I suppose they're happening.
You know, I've never really been involved in the fish farm simply because I sincerely believe that it won't happen. It is not economically viable. Okay, so yes, you can throw a hell of a lot of money at it.
Yeah.
You can have specially designed cages, massive big anchors, massive big chains, weighting system. You know, you're feeding the stuff fish, which you're trawling out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay, you can have this, but a big easterly swell, like a 1 in 5 year east, is going to trash those moorings. It's going to destroy it.
It moves all the water.
Yeah, so there are better places on this planet to grow fish. So I don't believe, and there's so many people involved in the whole fish farming debate that I've got other things that are probably as important that I'm concentrating on.
And when you started a big debate like that, I always get on from both sides, you know. It's always a mud fight, and I mean, I can't, like you say, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like an economical place to do it. But I suppose if they can get this stuff, those fish, then onto a rail thing and send it up to Gauteng or something, maybe it's
It's
the
not that, it's
or
the
something.
money that's made along the way to get to the fish farming. I would think that's what it is.
That's also
Yeah,
true. Your old sea dog, says Donna Watson. Interesting as always. Donna's a photographer.
No, we managed to get it to Bird Island the other day. It took about 10 years. But
Really?
eventually
It's
got
been
it.
a little while then, Donna. Not going to be shark diving soon. Chris Kennedy, Lloyd, tell Gino what you claim to fame at school in the back row on your cushion.
What was
Clarendon
that?
Park. Were you at Clarendon?
Clarendon, but this was at Marist.
Oh, you were at Marist, the Marist boy as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think Chris used to like. I think he's a bit girlish, and he used to like dressing up in girls' clothing. I used to keep them under my cushion.
Give that.
Yeah, and give them to the break time. Yeah.
He's calling you out. This could be good, says Bob. Lloydie, my boy. Mike van Vieren there, it's fires. Saying, please can have another ride to Bird Island. A great day with you guys. He's into his fishing, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Mike, it's unfortunately, you're not allowed to fish there anymore.
Yeah,
we were in
yes.
those days,
Yes.
but it's not. That's another interesting point now. Is that we did a lot of research on penguins. My previous partner, Dr. Lorian Pitchegru, she worked out the foraging habits. How far the penguins must go to bring back fish to feed the chicks.
Okay.
Because and then they did this experiment where they allowed fishing around the island for 5 years, right up to St. Croix. This is the biggest breeding colony here, just off Kocher.
Yeah.
And then for five years they weren't allowed within 20 kilometers.
Yeah.
And it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
Obviously, when
Yeah.
there's no fishing,
No,
the penguins survive.
Penguins survive.
So I think as a result of all of that, and because of the huge biodiversity of the bay and how important it is, they've made it now a marine protected area, which goes all the way from Kocher, from the new port. It includes the 3 islands here, Brenton, Jaleel and St. Croix, about 10 kilometers out to sea, all the way past Bird Island, around to Cannon Rocks. That's an MP.
Wow.
It's a marine protected area, which is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what tourists, and we can get on to tourism
Yeah,
now, but
yes.
it's huge. I mean, that they did that. That's part of Operation Pakisa. That's the nice part of Pakisa.
Yeah.
The not nice part, as you know, are the seismic surveys and things like the shark fishing and octopus fishery and that. I mean,
Hey, what's an octopus fishery? They also have a
well,
farm.
they have these traps. No, they got these traps, and of course, all our beautiful resident whales, which are the Brutus whales, it's spelled brides. Brutus whales. They feed in shallow water, and they were getting tangled in these octopus traps, and because it was happening in Fishhook and Muizenberg in front of people, they could see it.
Yeah.
They went to the minister and said, "Listen, you got to do something." And the Minister Creasy again, she jumped on. She said, "Right, mitigation. All you guys have got to sort out. You can't have another Brutus while getting entrapped." And what they did, it's actually interesting. They put PVC piping on the ropes, and you can't get entangled in that. So they haven't had one single entanglement since then.
So simple solutions can sometimes work, although the poor octopuses are still getting getting nailed. Now, an octopus teacher, I suppose, that people.
Well, he actually comes every year. Roger Horrocks, that filmed it, and he comes in the BBC. The BBC come and film Blue Planet, Perfect Planet, all that. It's
in our bay,
right here in Algo Bay on our boats, because they're big catamarans, are very stable. We can take big drones.
Okay.
And they come out here for 3 weeks, and they film. I think 10 minutes, not even 10 minutes goes on there.
Yeah.
And where do Port Elizabeth people watch the sardine run? In their lounge.
Yeah.
Sitting, get out there. It's happening now. Yesterday, bait balls all over Algo Bay. There's so much.
When you say bait balls, where you see those birds, all those birds going.
All the birds. So what happened, and PE people or people that are listening to the show, they will know that we had this very, very cold snap of water in the bay. It was too cold to swim. It was freezing cold.
With the red tide, or is that the red tide? What's that?
No. Red tide is something similar, but not quite. So what happens is when your easterly wind blows from East London direction, because of the Coriolis force and the spinning of the earth, it pushes your surface water offshore. And if your warm water goes offshore, you have a cold water coming in to take its place. But that cold water, everyone is like, oh, we can't swim in that. But that brings the plankton spores to the surface and nutrients. When these spores get to the surface, they hatch in the sun. And the plants start multiplying and growing like crazy. Half of our oxygen that we breathe on this planet comes from plant plankton. All right, your plant plankton feeds the animal plankton. The animal plankton feed the bait fish. So bait fish are plankton eating. So sardines, anchovies, marsbanker or herring, mackerel, a sori, an estuarine round hen, red-eye round hen. So that is what is now in the bay. That's attracting all the apex predators. So dolphins, whales, African penguins, gannets, seals. We had a marlin off the point 3 days ago. A mate of mine, Jem Kumral, he shot a marlin. He didn't hold it. Everything gone. And a lot of the other game fish and sharks, everything, they're all coming in for the sardine.
What did that marlin use that point for this spearfish?
They whacked. Well, not so much.
Slashes it.
Not so much. But
like a saw almost.
You see, it's amazing.
Because those things are incredible to see. I mean, they're quick they're super quick and strong.
Listen, that thing's
man. Greg Kahn, there's Greg Kahn from Joe Davis. You say he wants to go Raggy Charter. Tell me more about the rides and the costs, Lloyd.
Rides.
When do you do the rides? Every day.
Okay, so our island cruise, which is to St. Croix, that's our stock cruise. 8 o'clock, meet at 8 o'clock, and you're back. We're supposed to be back at 12. We never get back before 1. You know what it's like.
Yes, you'll be there.
And that goes from the harbour. So we run kind of a deep route south to try and pick up some of the bait balls. We then get to the islands. We have a guided tour. We got a fantastic tour guide. Our head tour guide's a girl from Mpumalanga. Her name is Purity Khoza. She's got a degree from the local university in tourism management and guiding. She'll be your guide. Jake Keaton, our skipper.
Yes, I met her. I met her.
She'll tell you all about the penguins, where they come from, where they're going to, and then from there, depending what the weather's doing, we'll either run into the new port at Kucha and then all the way along the back line. Dolphins often congregate in that area. They feed in those shallow reefs. Or we run a deep route. If the humpback whales are here, we'll run deep all the way back. So the price sounds bad. It's 1,800 Rand per person. But if you're South African, there's a special concession. You get a 600 Rand discount. We do that for 1,200 Rand.
1,200 Rand for the South Africans.
So,
and it's worth every cent. It's amazing. The whole, that whole morning and a bit of the afternoon. It's the most incredible thing to see. And you won't. I could not believe the amount of dolphins when we actually got to that. There's a spot where they breed and they hang around. And my word, it's like that's where you've been hiding. You know.
Yeah.
And you see the pods going around. They go all the way from Seaview, go around. It's the most beautiful thing to see on our coastline. If you're doing a walk down the beachfront or something.
And remember that every one that you see, there's at least another 2 underneath. So if you can see 50 at a time, the school's 150, if not more.
Wow.
I think that's probably even like 4 not underneath.
4 underneath.
Can we get just something else that people have been asking me a lot is these whales that are washing up at the moment.
Yes,
the dead whales.
Yes,
there's been quite a lot. So I spoke about the whales getting entangled in the octopus traps. Now we've got something worse, and that is the East Cape rock lobster industry. So on the Gullis Bank, out of the public's eye, the public you can't see.
Where's
it.
the Gullis Bank?
Gullis Bank is south of Cape Agulhas, south of Arniston, Gansbaai, all that. It's a big. That's where the current follows that bank out.
Yes,
it goes out for about 60 kilometers. They set the traps there, which are in deep water and off Port Elizabeth. We've got them here off the shelf, 50 kilometers from shore.
Okay.
So there's
Bellboy. Is that the shelf?
No.
The shelf is more.
50 kilometers. You go to Cape, you see about 50. So it's like halfway
outside the bay almost. There.
Now what happens is you've got all these traps, like 100 traps, and on each side there's a line and a buoy.
Yes.
Now these humpback whales on their migration, they come past there, and he hasn't scratched his back for about 6,000 kilometers. And he's like, give it a go.
Yeah.
And the minute they feel a bit of tension, they incline to roll, and then they roll up in this rope. And it takes them months and months to die. They pull these buoys and anchors and stuff with them. It's just, I've seen emaciated whales off Bird Island there. You want to cry. There's nothing you can do. Look, I am part of this entanglement team.
Yeah.
So we brought this up at our whale festivals as a project. And the minister, Creasy, got hold of me and she said, listen, we're aware of that. Please come and have a meeting with me.
Yeah.
And explain what you want to do. So I met with them last year. With her senior management staff, and now I need to give a presentation to the fishing forum. We need, because you can't. There is mitigation. So what they're planning to do? They've got these big metal hoops, big metal bars. They've got a coiled rope in this metal hoop, sitting at 150 meters down with a buoy on, and it's got a pin through the buoy, which is an acoustic release device. So when they want to retrieve the traps, there's nothing floating, so there's no. They come over, they push the button, it pulls the pin. This buoy comes up. They grab the buoy, and they pull all the traps up. They empty the traps. They redeploy it. They put the buoy back in.
Okay.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But they're doing it in Canada. They're doing it in the States. They're doing it in Australia. We have to force the minister to force the industry to actually do that, and then you won't catch a whale. You can't. But it costs money.
Okay, because it's a little bit more expensive.
It's all the money, but it doesn't matter. They are destroying.
They'll destroy a whale.
They're destroying whales, and whales they've just discovered are huge with about climate warming and stuff. They take so much carbon. When they die, they take all this carbon down into the depths, which is then fixed. They feed at depths. They come up, they defecate on the surface, they bring nutrients from the bottom to the top, which allows the plankton to thrive and to grow even better. So whales are a very important part of this.
It's connected.
Now, can you imagine in the serial bouts of whaling in the southern hemisphere, they killed 250,000 whales, 250,000 whales, weighing anything from 30 to 50 to 100 tons. And can you imagine the effect that has on plankton and nutrient recycling and fixing carbon? So it's
well, and that's at our cruises and sand sledding, they're saying, please stand up, please. What shorts are you wearing? Love, Maggie.
Look, Maggie, it's the same
like
ones.
Those shorts, right?
Yeah, she's shorts.
Smaak it. They seen Lloyd with a long pant. I promise, Donay. His ecosystems are so important and special. Thanks for the explanation on the cold water. So that's not the that's not the red tide we're talking about.
So red tide.
Is that something different?
It's spores, but where they think red tide comes from. Look, so all these ships that are coming into our bay for bunkering, that's another whole
bunkering.
thing.
I want to chat about that because I see these ships all the time.
So say, for example, the ones that come to get manganese ore. So they're empty when they leave, say, Europe. All right, they fill them with water. It's called ballast.
Okay.
So they take that water from wherever they are. They come to the bay, and just before they go and load, they pump all that water out. That's got plankton spores in. Now, if they're coming from an area that's got similar conditions, those spores will actually hatch if the conditions are right. If they're coming from Greenland to here, that stuff, it's cold water stuff, it won't survive.
It's dead.
So what they think is that the red tide came as ballast, it was pumped out in Algo Bay, came to the surface, you get these stable conditions, all those spores hatched, lots of nutrients, and they started multiplying, and they multiplied to such an extent because nothing's eating them. So it's a poisonous thing. I don't need to try that.
Okay.
And that just pollutes the water, and eventually it can get
geez.
so bad on the west coast that when that stuff dies,
Yeah.
it takes even more oxygen out of the water. That's why the crayfish fly out of the sea. And just like
Okay, check. Because
So-
it kills the fish as well.
kills everything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It actually coats their gill rays.
Is it the lack of oxygen in the water, or is it
Well,
take
it's lack of oxygen, or it clogs their gills up.
Okay, the gills,
and
okay.
they can't absorb oxygen.
Because I remember in St. Francis I saw it there, and the fish we were surfing out there, and the fish were just flopping around. You know, it was like a bit freaky. And so that's actually from pumping out the ballast.
The ballast, yeah.
Oh my soul! Because now tell me about the it's refueling that they're doing out in the bay. Is that right?
Right.
Because that I'm thinking like, I don't know, that sounds so lacquer, you know.
It's not lack at all. They haven't done an environmental impact assessment because it's a grey area.
Yes.
But if you open a petrol station in Port Elizabeth, you got to jump all through all
Yo,
the hoops.
all
of
sorts of
environment.
things.
Now you've got billions of barrels of oil sitting
Yes.
in the bay. So what happens? Okay, so
Petrol and
there's
stuff.
2 licenses at the moment.
Yeah.
This is so 2 tankers, super tankers come in, they anchor right
Yeah.
in the bay.
Okay.
Then a bunker barge will come in next to it. They have to heat that oil. It's so solid it actually sinks. If it's messed, it can sink.
Wow.
It's another lift, okay? They fill up the bunker barge. That will then fill up that ship, that ship,
Okay.
that ship, that ship. So those ships don't need to come into port.
Yes, because they don't have to pay taxes then, you see. It's all
So
about
they
the
come
money
in,
again.
They fill up and they go. On the positive side of bunkering is that if they're going from the States to China, instead of carrying 10,000 tons of heavy furnace oil,
Yes.
they'll carry 5,000 tons.
Okay.
5,000 tons more cargo. So
Alright.
they're getting more cargo on the
Yes.
ship, they're filling up halfway, and then they're getting to their destination.
Yes.
The problem is, is that they cannot even contain 100-litre spill. Can you imagine what will happen if there's an absolute cock up there one day? All this oil, there goes your tourism, there go your beaches,
Everything.
there go. It's absolutely
It's going to
crazy.
happen. I mean, there's no. It's
It's
just
happened
a
3
matter of time.
times. It's happened 3
happened
times. We've lost, I don't know how many hundreds penguins. And the thing is that they clean the penguins and they rehab them, but they don't breed for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
You're taking out the prime of its life. So
Yeah.
this bunkering, and there hasn't been an environmental impact assessment. So
Yeah.
we're actually busy with the minister. She's helping again
Okay.
with this whole thing. Renelle Friend wrote a huge concern report, 80 pages, went to the minister, and we've done other stuff as well. And the minister has responded to us, given us good answers, and we're now going to have people must look out for it. We're going to have a public meeting within the next few weeks once the minister's given us a timeline on a proposition.
Okay.
And hopefully we're going to, if we don't get it stopped, we're going to get it. We're going to control that spill. It's going to be more expensive. You can put floating booms. You can do whatever.
Well, Kevin Kelly's the one he's
Yes.
out there doing that stuff. But I
He's
mean, we
doing
don't
that.
want to have that.
He struggles to collect 100 litres. Now, how's he going to collect
Yeah.
100 tons? Or,
Surely if the harbour relaxes its taxes or relaxes whatever, those ships will come in and fill up at the harbour. Is that not safer? Is it safer?
I can't answer that. But you see, what we're pushing for is a risk assessment and an environmental impact assessment.
Okay.
Like they had to do with the seismic surveys.
With Shell,
This is outdated. They didn't even do one yet.
Yeah, there goes. Terry says most incredible tour was when we hit all those bait balls and hundreds of dolphins. And we saw the killer whales and followed them. Most incredible day for me. Sherry, you don't forget that.
No.
The killer whales are also, like you said, the most intelligent,
They're smart and they're scary.
Yeah. Well, Martin Evans, I'll never forget. Martin's been sailing around the world with his little boat. And a little boat, it's quite a big boat, but it's quite small compared to like some of these big yachts out there. And he had killer whales like smacking the bottom of his boat.
Oh, really?
All the way around, and took out a bit of his rudder, and he had to get his rudder repaired.
Really?
They were like, anyway.
Yeah.
No, it was. I think I don't know where it actually was.
No, they were doing that in Europe at one stage when they were crossing from England to the Bay of Biscay along that section. The killer whales were on the boats there. Yeah, I don't think they still don't know what it's.
Yo. On a serious note, Lloyd, you're an amazing tourism ambassador for the city. Thanks for all you've done. Yeah, absolutely, and we so need this for our own tourism to get it going, because that bay is it's phenomenal for tourists. You know, the more we can attract people here, the more money comes here, the more money there is to put into stuff like
Can
that.
I say on the tourism note, I think there's something that we all need to realize is that the key word here is sustainable tourism.
Yeah.
And in Europe, before COVID, the European Travel Commission funded a 3-year study on tourism, because everybody, you think tourism, it's green, tourism is green.
Yeah.
But hang on, tourists are flying in, airlines,
Not clean. Yeah.
they got one of the biggest CO2 emissions. They're hiring vehicles when they get here.
Yeah.
They're staying in hotels. Hotels can be built on pristine, nice, beautiful beaches that have been thing.
Yeah.
They cost a lot of money to run. Everyone wants the electricity, the cooking, and all of
Yes.
this. They pump rivers dry so everyone can have a shower.
Yes.
So tourism is actually not as green as it is
Yeah.
assumed. So after 3 years of study, they said, all right, everybody needs to be sustainably tourism
Yeah.
approved.
Yeah.
So now they are looking
Okay.
at where the people are going, because places like Amsterdam, Venice, and that, they don't want any more tourists. There's too much.
Really.
And now you've got the Chinese in the mix. They're
Yeah.
also just
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is, hang on, if we're going to South Africa, we can't use an organization or a travel group that are not sustainable
Yeah.
tourism. And that's where I've been doing conservation for 30 years. My business is 25 years old.
Yes.
We are sustainable. So that is why we had Algo Bay declared as a whale heritage site.
Oh, it has
last
been?
year.
Last year.
We're the
Fantastic.
fifth one in the world. We're very
Brilliant.
proud of that. And that is because our area, we are trying to have it conserved. We've had an MPA,
Okay, yes.
We're looking at the pollutants that are going into the bay, and the tourists that are come onto our boat, they see what I tell them what we do. I tell them we're doing the research,
Yes.
we're doing the education, especially in the townships. Purity Causa goes and does that.
Okay.
We
She's fantastic. Girl.
we help with the pollution on the calamari, the chocker boats.
Okay.
Those oaks have really cleaned up their.
the St. Francis guys and the
they better look. 20 years ago it was terrible. We get whole big bags of litter washing up. So
from
we're
those
doing
from
that.
those boats, yeah.
We are sustainable in what we do, and that's why we will attract tourists to Port Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And I've been talking now. I'm on the board for Nelson Mandela Bay Tourism, and I've been telling them as well. Tell your people in your guest houses, we've all got to do it. You have to. Because the time is running out. People say, oh, global warming. Global warming. 80% of global warming takes place in the ocean. That's why you don't notice. It's not like the ocean. The ice is melting. Well, you can't see it in the Antarctic and the Arctic. That's where the problem is.
I mean, it's been in the back of your minds for so many years, because people have been saying, the message is getting louder and louder. That sustainability, we have to do it, and it's getting. I mean, what about the Mount Croix, the St. Croix penguins? 20 years ago, population 40,000 plus.
Look, Mike, when in 2000 I took a picture on St. Croix. That whole island was covered on the one side. We had a population of 60,000. 60,000. But remember, in 1935, the population, because of the egg collecting and the guano collecting, had dropped down to a couple of thousand penguins. So they bounced back, and they reached a peak in about 2000 of 60,000. We're probably down to 10,000 now. And the last few years. And
what has happened? What is
bunkering could be one of the things. Fishing, catching the fish too close to the island.
Okay.
And also catching the penguins in the nets. We used to go and do the survey from Sundays River down to Woody Cape. You'd be surprised how many dead penguins you pick up with no noticeable damage.
Yeah.
Sometimes a seal has ripped the guts out, but other times that would have been drowning. Now that they're not allowed to fish
so can't get
in
up
that
to the
area,
surface.
Hopefully we're going to have less bycatch. That's bycatch. Bycatch is massive, like these big trawlers. Most of the bycatch are just chuck overboard. Trawling should never have been allowed.
Yeah, I mean,
it's too bad.
The whole idea of having a net that's I don't know how long these
pulling
nets
these
are.
chains along the.
And they just and are they doing that in the bay? I mean, is that in the bay as well? And our Navy, I don't know what's happening with our Navy, but you know, we need to get that going.
No, that's not going to
Simonstown, I saw some of those course, what are they, Corvairs or whatever they call them, and the submarines. Oh lordy, I don't know. Lloyd, you're an asset to the city. Thanks for the work you do, and of course the character that you are. Says Barry Erickson from UP, or no, it's UPE now NMU. Marjorie Moore says fantastic ambassador indeed.
Marjorie, she's from Lake Farm. They do a sterling job. She's one of the fundraisers there, and
Magic.
and I've met some of the students. You know, they helped us with the whale festival, which was incredible. You know, they got the students to make whale pots and shark pots, and you know, you can see the guys they just want whales and dolphins and stuff. You know, she and my partner there, they really got into it, and it would be sorry to lose them. They do every year they buy our calendars, which is educational, and they sell that to raise
funds as well.
So,
yes.
well done to
Lake Farm,
Marjorie.
fantastic, and people that just are working from their hearts totally. It's just like Cheshire Holmes as well, Deirdre. It's like incredible people. You need for those kind of things. Those NPOs, amazing. Those people. And I see Brian Wilkinson's one of those. What's the latest fish farms? I see. Yeah. He was talking about the fish farms. Yeah. Well, hopefully they're not going to make any money, Brian. We will see. Hopefully we'll have that. And now it's at the moment. Like, see, you went to Namibia. You're doing these.
Welcoming the whale festival.
So you follow them down. There was I remember when we went out, we had to go quite far out, almost like to the wild side.
That's right.
Because they sometimes bypass.
Yes,
they sometimes bypass.
When they're doing their northern migration, which is I think when you were on, so they're coming to Cape Recife, and they don't come into the bay. They go straight across to Bird Island because they're trying to get to where they're going. Females need to calf, okay, and the males have swum 8,000 kilometers for sex.
For a bit of
sex.
a bit of Mickey Nyam Nyam.
So when he gets there, they're like, no headaches, please. They don't know this. I want it, and I want it now. And I'll sing you this cool song.
Yes,
and they sing the song, and then they boop.
So they do a sing song. It's a sing song.
So they're all in a rush. They're all in a rush to get there. Once he's had it over, the testosterone levels down.
Okay. So it's amazing how they have to get there.
They got to get there.
That's the spot. It's like date night, baby. That's right.
If you imagine trying to get an erection in 2 degrees Celsius water, it wouldn't happen.
It's quite difficult.
Yes.
They need the
There's
warm
30
water.
degrees,
30 degrees up there, equator.
So, 30, 32. So
Okay, and then they calf up there as well.
They calf there, and then very interesting, you know, that the female, you know, she breastfeeds.
Okay.
Like we monitor the ones besides the humpbacks in Algo, we've got the southern right whale, which was the right whale to hunt because it's very big, lots of these baleen plates in the mouth, which was like the plastic in the old days. Lots of fat. They used to melt the fat down to lubricate machinery, to light street lamps, to make all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
We don't know about that.
So they come in and they've moved away from Kuche. You know, there's a lot of noise at Kuche from the generators on the ships. So it seems the whales have all moved off to Sundays River. And we're monitoring this here for 81 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And when that calf gets to about 8 meters, it's ready to do the journey back. I think that mother that's come here hasn't eaten,
Wow.
No eating on the way here. Really? Birth, breastfeeding, a couple of 100 liters a day. That milk is like, it's almost like 90% fat, a huge fat content. Really? It's like toothpaste. So it actually squirts that milk from the nipple into the calf's mouth. And this calf
through the water.
So
that's like
the calf puts its tongue in like a U shape like that, and then the female pushes the nipple into there from the mammary gland. And then it squirts that very, very thick.
Oh, they're trying to swim, and oh my God!
And they just keep quiet and they don't talk.
Do they just lie in the same spot, or do
it comes underneath them? The whale just
go slowly,
a little bit off the shore where there's not too much movement, so they don't have to expend energy.
Yes,
and they don't talk to each other.
Oh, really?
You know why?
Because danger, because of the calves, I suppose.
Killer whales. So if killer whales pick up mother calf talking, they'll be in and poof, kill the calf. All they eat is the tongue. But in that shallow water, it's very difficult for a killer whale to actually attack
from underneath,
because it's quite shallow, and the calf can avoid it. And if you get slapped by a female whale, it's And the killer whale gets a smack to the head and
Really?
it's over. I know.
They can do that.
No,
so-
yeah, they can.
And they can aim it.
Yeah.
That tail. What?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Even
soul.
they got you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be alive.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't realize they could fight back like that, right?
Yeah, they do.
Get
Especially
murdered.
the humpbacks. And the humpback's got the longest appendage of any animal.
Oh, really?
Those flippers are like 5-6 meters long. They probably weigh
Those side ones.
those big
Side.
ones. Yeah.
Yo. And Lloyd is amazing grasp with the environmental impact. I hope you go from strength to strength on this. Proud of you. Thank you, Ray Landau. I don't know where
Great
this
photography. He was been doing photography on whales and dolphins for flipping ever. And he's in Port Elizabeth now. Had to teach him a few tricks, of course.
With the photography, eh? Linda saying, thank you so much for fantastic impact, and the talks are always impressive. Absolutely, because here you got a whole bunch of info in there, and trying to get it all out of you.
I know.
But I mean, so, and then you come down. Do you start at the top and come back again with the whales, or
No, so we up for the first 3 we did. We started in Iceland because that's where they hit the coast first.
Okay.
And this year I think we're going to change it because we started in Port Elizabeth.
Okay.
Let's start here.
Yes.
And now the routes got too big. We're 25. We've gone from 1
to
to
25
to
festivals?
25, 1 to 4 to 6, and now
That's
we're at
incredible.
25. Yeah, and everyone's getting into it. Now, it wasn't just a festival, it was mainly a talk. And then the people see how important it is, what we can do.
Yeah.
Now we're starting to get bands in, the festival last year, we had 6 bands. Joe van der Linde made the song.
Oh, excellent.
We had food trucks, we had a tourism expo as well.
Yes.
We had all these different activities. So,
A couple of food trucks here, the
and
Grant
then
Foong and the guys
people.
on it.
Yes, Grant and them, and I mean, that's
Fools.
more festivals. So we're going to start in Port Elizabeth this year,
Okay.
probably at the Willows or Pine. We'll see. The
Okay.
Willows is also quite a nice
Okay,
venue.
yeah.
I haven't spoken to Dale from Pine Lodge yet. He's still.
Dale
Anyway.
from Parla, somebody tag him. We need him in as well.
We'll
Sheila
see,
Ruth. So Gino for St. Francis, welcome the world. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we were at Cape St. Francis with Shenna. Shenna used to
Yes.
work for the the mayor here, who helped us with the first one.
Rabba.
No,
Oh, Ethel.
Ethel,
Ethel
yes,
Trouble,
yes.
that's right,
And
okay.
they really supported us well. And we went and looked at the venue restaurant there with a and it's
lighthouse.
it's a perfect setting for a welcoming the whales. And then we'll go, but now it's got so big that I need somebody to go the other way. So if there's anybody that wants to come
right.
and talk whales, someone needs to go PE east up to Mozambique and Kenya.
Whoa.
Doing it up there.
So they
And
actually go both ways.
they go both ways. There's 2 different populations.
Okay.
So they come up because of the currents.
Different whales or different
No.
species or
different
same?
populations, but there is a bit of cross population.
Okay.
But generally, some will winter, so will feed in a different area.
Ah.
But they'll use the currents to come up.
Yes.
They don't want to get into the Gullis current because then they'll go the wrong way.
Oh, I
so
see,
they
I
come
see.
in on the current, and that's why they land at Knysna.
Okay.
But someone must take the east coast and some on the west coast. It's got a bit big now.
Okay, geez.
I mean, I did the whole thing in Australia pre-COVID. I went to every single whale watching place in Australia that I could find.
Yo.
In a vehicle from a mate of mine.
Yes.
And I got them all into it. I got New Zealand into it.
But that's
so we're going to
marvelous.
link the whole southern hemisphere. And I've got Brazil, Argentina, and Chile
Yeah.
to join. So the whales, what they do is in summer they're here. In winter, they move up.
Okay.
Now,
Those
if
spots.
you can coordinate the whole southern hemisphere, any issues facing whales, like if they resume whaling,
Yes.
the entanglements, the
Okay.
pollution, you've now got a whole hemisphere of people
Yes.
to help you. And then we'll start on the north.
And then the money also becomes better as well if you've got more volumes. It works the same as if
And
you-
then the tourists, basically the idea is that tourists will follow the whale route.
Yes.
So they'll come to Port Elizabeth, and then they'll go to, we do one in Kenton, and then we do Port Alfred,
Yeah.
then we do East London, and then we do all the wild coast. So people can move along and follow the whale route
the whales.
as far as they want to go, up the west coast. We've just moved into Namibia. Now last year we were at Swakopmund and Valverde. Next year I went up there, got Luderitz on board.
Okay.
Now we got to find someone up in Angola somewhere,
Angola side.
or Gabon, So yeah, that.
What's above
and it's
Angola?
fun.
Is that Gabon?
It's Congo.
Congo is
and then,
DRC.
yeah. So you attract the people, you get them to the Welcoming the Whales Festival, and then you cover things like plastic pollution,
Okay.
which we can still get onto.
Well,
if you've got time.
Spa was involved in that, I know.
Spa is, we're busy with Spa.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I can tell you who we're also busy with.
Yeah.
You know what? I've got to say it. You know, I was on the other day I was on a virtual conference
Cool, yes.
for this plastics. We want zero plastics into our oceans by whatever it is. They didn't put a date to it.
Yeah.
And these are now the preliminaries building up. And the head of the sustainability manager of Coca-Cola was on there.
Yeah, okay.
And he entertained us for 20 minutes on these big fancy graphs and why it's so difficult to recycle and why it's this and why it's that. All these things. And then there was some time for questions. And I said to him, excuse me, I want only one thing from you. When is Coca-Cola stopping producing single-use plastics?
Yeah.
And you know what he told me? Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And I put it onto the seismic survey group, and the next one then I get a phone call from the regional manager of Coca-Cola saying, who is this sustainability manager?
Yeah.
They didn't know.
Yeah.
And I've had some emails from them, so we're busy with a campaign. But we have to.
Yeah, the guys. I
You know what I've done, Gino?
Fitch and Leeds are here. I know that they are. Did day water?
This is all easier to recycle.
They did the water, the day water. I think in tins instead of bottles. I know that they did that as well, and I wondered about that because I think these are easier to go. But I mean, they need to put it in something, but it just needs to disappear.
Europe with the deposit system in some countries are getting a 98% return. I can guarantee you in South Africa, if they put a deposit system back, we'll have 150% return. People will be going down rubbish.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I know Laura's involved with Green Cycle as well.
Yes, very good.
Laura Race is there. So somebody tag Laura because she's been amazing. I put all my stuff in there and I put the wrong stuff in as well. Last question must light a fire now. Lloyd, your thoughts on the yellowfin tuna stocks? Great show. Thanks, Mike.
Not really my forte. That's pretty. It's a pelagic offshore species, and they are pelagic. Okay, what's not pelagic is resident. So your blacktail, your red, all your redfish, they stay in one area. Pelagic fish move the ocean. So tuna move with the currents. So they can get nailed by all the foreign fishing fleets out there properly, and those boats are so sophisticated with catching them. But if you look at the tuna classic with the guys fish every year, some years there's lots, some years there's not. There was a marlin here. So you know with all the technology that we've got, come on. You know, you've got to be able to monitor all these people just by looking at from a satellite. I don't know. It's money again. It's
all to do with the money. If there's money involved, then the oaks will do something. Like you say, for the recycling. I mean, that's absolutely without a doubt the recycling story. If there's some sort of deposit that the guys get.
One thing I must say just about recycling. I've been trying to teach people for 30 years not to throw their rubbish around. I failed. I've totally failed. We've got to change our angle. We've got to start attacking the people that are producing it. That's where you've got to go. On the same conference I'm telling you about, there was a guy from the South African Plastics Federation. He says, I was going past the Baza Township and there was this guy, all these guys throwing their plastic. Homo sapiens, just like us. I said to him, absolute nonsense. That guy doesn't know where his next meal's coming from. How is he going to think about throwing it? It's your risk. If you make the stuff, you must ensure that it. I don't care how you do it. Why must we fight about that? You know, it's them. They must take risk. We've got amazing environmental laws in this country, but they're not.
I know Conrad from Spa here was before he left. He was heading up the DC here, and I know he was big into the stop plastic, and I think they are continuing with that as well. With the guys are still with the Spa thing. They're trying to do that, stop the plastic bags. And buy those paper bags because the paper bag will disappear.
I was speaking to Alan Stapleton the other day, and he says now the trucks that take stuff into the Transkei. They are bringing back full trucks of all the packaging and stuff that's taken up. So that's a success story. And I said to him, Alan, you got to get that out there. You got to. I want to see that you're progressing and that you're doing something. You're not just saying, "Oh, we can't do it." You have to. We can't carry on like this. It's just too much.
That's true. Okay, quick history of yours as well. We were talking about Clarendon Park.
Yes.
So Clarendon Park in the 60s.
Class of 66. We've got a reunion class going, which is
But where did you stay here? Because
I was in Charlotte.
Is it in Charlotte?
Grew up in
Okay.
Charlotte,
Because you
yeah.
knew all the guys over here. We were talking about.
We used to walk up and
used
down
to
the
go-
valley and do all those things.
Isn't it a job? I mean, this beautiful valley. This
That's another thing we need
green
to
lung.
sort out, get rid of the aliens.
Yeah.
We do a lot of work on alien removal. Also for my sins, I'm chairman of the Tree Society in the Eastern
Oh, really?
Cape. So we teach people about indigenous trees, why we need to protect those ecosystems. And every tour that we do, we plant at least one tree. And we give it free advice. So if I maybe just mention this, on the end of the month, on the 30th of January, at 11 o'clock at Colleen Glen.
30th
That's next to the Elephant Walk restaurant and the
Yes.
Three-Legged Pig. I'm doing a tree identification course, indigenous
wow.
trees. It's for free. Come there at 11 o'clock. We're having our AGM before that. You come there. We rehabilitated that area in 2012.
Yes.
10 years ago, we took all the aliens,
Really?
all the inkberries, all the wattles, everything out. We ripped. It took us a whole year.
Yeah.
And we planted Nadia Damso, who's passed away, but she had the nursery there. Her partner donated all these trees. We planted all that. It's all there. We will now take people on the guided how to identify trees using the leaves.
Yeah.
We'll go around there and we'll.
That would be marvelous, because I always think when I'm walking through this valley, because we go almost every day, we go for a run through the valley. The more people that use the valley, the less crime there is in it,
yes.
the more interest there is in it. And I mean, I know Fat Tracks have been amazing here. They've got all their tracks going through the valley too. It's been awesome. And so the more people we get involved, the better it's going to be for this place as well. So okay, so Clarence Park, did you study?
I was at Rhodes University.
Rhodes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Smoke a lot of weed there.
A lot of weed. Kept us sane. Kept us going. Yeah.
And then after school studies, or I mean, obviously Rhodes, but what did you study at Rhodes?
I studied economics. I did an economics major.
Okay,
I also did. It's my dark side, I guess.
Yeah.
I studied political science and I was also a member of the special branch of the police.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah,
what it was, and if you look what's happening in the country today, we didn't agree with apartheid, but we didn't want to replace it with a socialist system. I think if South Africa had got into a socialist system in the 80s, we would have been a lot worse off than now. So when the ANC moved away from terrorism, because terrorism isn't right if it comes from the left, or no cause on earth is good enough for that. Yeah. And they renounced socialism. I think it was in time to go through to a democracy. So that's the thing. I was an idealist in that sense, and I've changed the crusade against socialism to one against conservation, which I always had. I didn't want to be a flippant policeman, I'm a naturalist. I grew up in Port Elizabeth, barefoot on the beach, spearfishing, fishing, scuba diving, keeping tropical fish, really doing stuff.
But you've got to be tough to do this stuff as well, so I'm sure it's helped in that sense, I suppose.
Yes, I tell you what, you learn a lot about people and organizations and how conniving people can be, it's a real eye-opener when you see into the criminal world and what happens. It's like, wow.
That's another whole story then.
That's for another day.
Okay. But gee whiz, and then so then after when did you get involved in the Raggy Charters and the conservation stuff?
So when I was in the police in 1992, I decided, hang on, that this Parliament poaching was getting out of hand. It was my department. Yeah. So I started training police divers. Okay. And I thought, hang on, police divers, these guys are Parliament poaching. Right, let's get involved. And we got in there and we moved it properly. There were Parliament poachers at a hard time, I promise you. And we were doing it spare time, off duty, but while we were diving. And of course, the police water wing would get like, I know you, that's our job. And we'd catch more people than them, using all special branch tactics, so we had a huge impact on that. And then I also started thinking, but hang on, you're catching it at the end. Let's start with education. And then I moved off while I was in the police. I started going into the townships and talking at the schools and saying, hey, listen, we're the police, we're not your enemy anymore, no more fire bombs, no more petrol bombs. Let's start thinking conservation. So I started using marine conservation to get the police re-accepted into the township, into the black areas with the school kids. And we started taking the kids out on the boats. We'd go to a school and talk to 500 kids and say, right, I want you all to listen to my slideshow. Here's the slideshow. Design a conservation poster.
Okay.
And then and I say 10 of you that do the best will get a free trip. Nothing for nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
If you give something for free, it loses its value.
Yeah.
So get the kids to actually do something, and that we're very successful with that. We
Yeah.
still do that every
Yeah.
year, and that's you got to get to the kids. You know, you remember back to school, how much marine biology did you do at school?
Yeah.
Very little.
Yeah, no, not much at all. Yeah.
And you know, it's
Okay, a couple more questions here. I'm going to skim a few of these while we're here because these are interesting. I think have you been caught in bad weather? I wanted to know that.
yeah.
Hey,
Sure.
tell me a story.
I used to when sand parks were given over Bird Island. This is the long one. This is the 65k trip,
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
I was in charge of the big 13-meter patrol boat, and we took some people, some rangers through. We put them on. We took the new crew off, and I said to the guys, "Listen, there's a west coming through,
Okay.
and we got to get moving." And they kept me waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah.
Eventually we got on and I left, and my brother phoned me from Seaview. He
Yeah.
says, "Lloyd, I don't know where you are, but there's a Moor River West. It's just hit us."
shit, okay.
And I was like inshore,
Yeah.
and I was full taps, and I was running up along. And when I got to Sunday's River, I think I got hit by 60 knots. It's like 120 kilometers an hour. I couldn't see anything.
Oh.
All I could see was my plotter,
Yeah.
and the whole water was white. And I tell you why it was bad, because the black staff started laughing.
Yeah.
And you know when they start laughing, you and I couldn't see I couldn't see if I was going to hit anything.
Yeah.
And eventually I got to Kocha, to the port, and I called them. I said, "Listen, I'm coming in here." They said, "No, you can't come in here." I said, "I am coming."
Yeah.
And we came into Kocha to the port,
Yeah.
and we hit the quay. So here's the quay.
Yeah.
Came up along the quay like that. Got one rope there, and I put full astern, 720 horsepower. And the minute it got into the wind, it pushed us back like
Wow.
that. We couldn't turn the boat, and it was sand. That sand was going horizontal.
Yo.
I mean, it was terrifying stuff.
So, I mean,
It was
you're trying to dock a boat like that as well.
Can you imagine?
No, that is crazy. I mean, and the waves. I mean,
Oh,
big
the
waves.
waves it's just white. It's spin
Really?
drift. You know, when the wind gets to that
Yeah.
speed, it picks the foam up.
Okay.
So you can't see anything.
You can't check
Just
any.
no,
You
it's
can't
big.
check any waves
No.
anyway, and you're smashing through that stuff.
And I got hit by a whale.
Oh, as well. The same.
This was last year. I got COVID. Then
Yeah.
I fell off my deck and broke all my ribs for 3 months. And then I got smacked by a whale. And then I burnt myself with boiling water. And then I got a bloody sack spider bit me. And that was the worst of the
Holy
whole lot.
crap.
Yeah.
Where's,
So that was last year.
where's that spider come from? What's it
A
look
sack
like?
spider. It's thinking about that big. It's like it's got a big body and those legs that it sits up. You know, sometimes on your curtains you get that white patch. Looks like silk.
Yeah.
That's a sack spider. That thing bites you in deep trouble.
Big shit.
No,
Okay.
that was the
To have shacks with your shacks with your ankle.
That was hectic.
Holy moly!
That
Okay.
was nice.
The hardest you've ever worked.
Hardest.
Yeah.
Hardest. Film cruise.
Film cruise.
BBC film cruise.
Oh, really?
You know, you think a BBC film cruise,
Yeah,
promise you.
Sandwiches
You're up
and
at 5.
Oh.
At 6, you leave, you get to the harbour, the sun's not up yet.
Yeah.
The minute that sun pops up, you're out. And you can be 40 miles, 80 kilometres south, all the way to Bird Island. All right, and you driving, you're getting them on the scene, you're getting the bait balls, you're reading the action,
Yeah.
you're getting, and every now and again you're like, oh, and you get home. They go home to go and download and recharge batteries. You've got to fuel your boats up. You've got to put another 2,000 litres on the boats. You've got to clean the boat. You've got to prep it for the next morning. The next morning it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And the same thing. And for 3
Same
weeks,
story.
and those guys, you know, they are so good. BBC and they're honest gentlemen.
Yeah.
They're the most unassuming, modest people. And you know,
hardworking,
when they first got them, they'd say, "What are you shooting with your camera?" I'm like, "Try this." And you're like, wow.
So good advice for you as well, eh?
Yeah, no.
Learn from the pros.
And the funny, the better they are, the more polite they are, and the more they help you. You get
Yes,
these
of
cheap film cruises,
No, they're
and
full of
they're
crap.
full of shit,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
just impossible. And I've got a short fuse when it comes to that. I won't tell you what I say to them. We've had a few run-ins.
Oh my. Okay, the biggest learning experience that you've ever had.
Being a policeman.
Really, yeah.
Being a policeman in those
days.
Yeah, those days was
Sure.
like you just can't believe what you see
Yeah.
and what happens with the information you're privy to.
Yeah. Eesh. Okay, coldest you've ever been?
Coldest. Iceland.
Really, you've been to
Yeah.
Iceland? You've been to like 100 countries or something ridiculous.
I went up in Iceland,
Okay.
up into the fjords and with some of those guys on private things, and it's even in summer. I mean, it's
Yo.
and you're dressed like a Michelin man.
Yeah.
You know, I've got all my normal gear on.
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
put a freezer suit on top of all of that. No, listen, it's hectic.
Oh, my
Crazy.
soul.
And Patagonia too, down there in Cape Horn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's also like when the wind blows there. I mean, even in a
Cape Horn,
tent,
it's Magellan Strait. So
yes,
yeah,
there.
that's
yeah.
well, that is that's close there.
That's hectic. That's hectic, yeah.
Okay, any stupid or annoying questions which you get asked in the boat?
Oh yeah, Americans.
Yeah.
Why are the penguins so small? We didn't pay for that.
We
didn't pay for
big
these
ones.
We want big ones.
Big penguins.
What?
Another classic. Any odd superstitions that you have?
I'll try not eating penguins.
Okay, well, that's good.
There's not
No, you can't eat penguins.
No, that
No.
tastes nice.
So no real superstitions
No,
like
nothing.
ladders, the vibes going on. None of that stuff. I sense there's one that is not telling us, Gary. I sense.
You sense it, yeah.
Otherwise you can pass, it's fine.
I can't think of that.
Or phobias, no phobias.
Phobias.
Yeah.
No, nothing. No,
Sack spiders.
Sack spiders, yes, the sack spiders. Of all the things, I mean, of everything, that was the worst. No.
There we go. You see, there's a story. Your oaks are on you.
Oh,
Tell us
Andrew
about the
Stewart.
roadkill meal.
Yes, it's kind
Yes, of course you can.
Okay, so
It's roadkill, Tim already.
So it's COVID, right?
Oh, right.
It's my 60th birthday.
Yes.
So Andrew Stewart included, and a whole lot of people. They managed to like sneak into my house. They're parking around the block.
Of course, it's
All over
COVID.
the place,
Yeah,
it's COVID. So we all in there, and we had old Jono Gunston that owns
Yes.
Nolios and Two Olives.
Yes.
So he comes and he's doing a seafood bisque, which is on his menu now.
Yeah.
I taught him that.
Ah, nice.
Anyway,
Yes.
so we had this massive party, and then Jono and his wife and the kids slept over.
Yeah.
The next morning, I always walk my dogs on the beach, pick
Yeah.
up plastic. Every morning I pick up plastic, so I know which foreign boats are fishing. And
Wow,
Anyway,
okay.
do all of that. And we get onto the beach, and here's a bushbuck
What?
lying on the beach. Male, big male, long horns like this. Yeah, long horns.
Which beach?
Seaview, I live in Seaview. So as you come into Seaview from Keene Bay, I'm the fifth house on the right,
Okay,
on
wow,
the thing, and I look over that. So I built a path
Okay.
down my property
Down.
and over steps.
Yeah.
So I say, Jono, listen, bro, we got to take this back. So I run home and I get a piece of brandery,
Yeah.
2 ropes. We tie the legs, we put this in, and yes, it was a big one. That thing must have been, it must have been over 100 kilos, I guess. We struggled, and we carried it up to the Land Cruiser.
Jeez.
We
How
put
did it die? You don't know.
Got smacked by a car.
Oh.
Just had a knock on the head.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it just got a whack. So it was a clean death,
Yeah.
And I get it into the garage, and I said to Ursula, I said to her, listen, now, we got to slag this thing, get knives. So she's like, got all this. Take the knives, slip down, all the guts out, head off, skin off, everything off. Took that,
I can't do that stuff. I'm like,
buried this thing in the beach, put it back in, so the nutrients go back
Yes,
in.
yes.
And then we start slucking this thing, and it's all ready. And I phone my mate who's a butcher. I won't tell you which one.
Yes.
You're going to get trouble. He puts it up in his storeroom,
Yes.
and he works. So he asked me what I want. So we got the wristrings, and we got the legs, and the this and that. We then went to my mate's restaurant, and we did the leg with mashed potato and truffles. And we had carpaccio starter, and I invited all my mates, all the guys that were at the party, Andrew Stewart included, and I said, we got some curry tonight. And they're all like, oh, cool, nice, I like a curry. When they'd finished eating, and everyone, then I said, just by the way, remember that roadkill? I said, that's what we had. Andrew Stewart can never get over that.
After the meal.
Cool.
I'm not coming to your house for supper, Harry.
Just
So
check what
Mike
you have.
Profferman saying, interesting listening. Thanks, Lloyd. Thanks, Mike. He's just down the
yes,
road
Mike,
here
yeah.
and Water Road. What would you say your biggest accomplishment so far in your careers?
I think that it is getting Raggy Charters probably through COVID. It's because we've been debt free for 20 years.
Yeah.
When we want a new boat, we save up.
Yeah.
Like my grandfather taught me, and we buy it. So when you hit a big problem like COVID, and there's going to be more things in tourism, you can be a terrorism act, there can be a this, there can be a that.
Yeah.
So you always got to be debt free.
Yeah.
And I think to get that, and the other thing about being debt free is you can keep your conservation projects going, because most people, when the money starts drying up, they stop the conservation work, because that doesn't make you, that costs us money.
Yeah.
So to be able to carry on with our projects and set up this whole international network of people looking after whales and that.
And like the global thing that you're talking about. Yeah.
So that's for the next.
Okay.
So I'm
It's
planning
amazing.
6 months a year. I want to travel, and I want to take this Algo Bay, Port Elizabeth brand of conservation. I want to take it, and I'm getting a bit better at it, And we, the environmentalists, the greenies, we're making inroads.
Yeah.
We're getting shit stopped. This seismic survey in 2014. They wanted to do survey here in December. And I said to the guys, I got hold of them, I said, you can't do that. The whales are coming through. It's humpback migration time. They flew people from London out to meet me. They got the chief geologist, the people that owned all the ships, just me.
Yeah.
And you know what I had? I had my police logbook that I stole from the cops. This thing about this big. It was for the aangehoudens, Yeah, and I'd logged since 1997. Humpback whales.
Wow.
And I said to these guys, December, let's start. 1977. 27 whales coming past. Let's go 1998, December, up into January. So many whales. The guys were like, wow. They stopped it for 2 days. It cost them $4 million US. But just me with my logbook. Stopped it. And they said, okay, I'll tell you what, if this is the shore over here, they were going to do surveys like this. They said, hang on, Lloyd, what if we do the first, we divide it into 3 and we survey this way? And by the time we finished the first quadrant, the first third, those whales, and they come close in, those whales in their cars would have passed. I said, well, I'm happy with that.
For
So
at least you scored it then, and they would have done it anyway.
We're making these fossil fuels have got to be, it's getting there, but we're not going quick enough. We're running out of time. That's what's happening.
I know. Okay, so a biggest realization that you had about yourself, quite like that.
That there's always someone better than you.
There's
always someone that's more smart
can't be the best all the time.
You try, you strive. I must say, we've won the tourism, the best marine tour operation in South Africa. We've won that like 6 times, which is more than anybody else. And if I compare, so we're good, but that's
you
try. There's always someone.
It's amazing for PE as well that it's there, because Cape Town, you'd think Cape Town, False Bay, those guys are cooking, but actually PE's got it, and we've got so much here that we can still tell people about. Your supporter or role model, anybody that's affected your life as a mentor, kind of thing.
I guess my brother, my brother was very much a naturalist. In fact, he wrote his first book on the Barkens River about the plants and the trees and the animals.
The Grobert plant.
I don't know, but he did that. He helped setting up the Van Staden Wildflower Reserve, Tues.
Tues, that's what it is. The Grobert, it's a Tues.
Is that a Grobert?
Yeah.
I thought a Grobert was a shark.
Grobert and Ga is the water, and the Grobert is the Tues.
Okay.
So it's Tues water. It was apparently, I don't know how they... So you'll have to ask Christian Martin, where I'm going to try and get on the show and see what his story is about that. But that's quite lekker if it is. I don't mind that. It sounds cool. So he knows the Barker.
He knows the Barker, and we were all, my parents, they got us into nature from an early age.
Okay.
I remember, you know what, when I was 4 years old, so I was 4, my other brother was 11, and my oldest brother was 14. They took us and dropped us on the Swartkops River. And we walked up the river towards the townships there. And we slept on the banks. I was 4. And my mother, I'll never forget, my mother had packed me a piece of a crust, white bread crust. We were quite poor in those, and a half a banana. Okay, and I remember like sleeping in this little cave. That's where I was. And they'd gone, they leave me there. I was 4. And I remember like thinking, oh, I'm so hungry, I've got to eat this. So I ate this bread and banana. My brother got back, he says, what have you been eating? You little shit. Mommy packed your stuff, didn't she?
My God, that's these mothers in the 70s, in the 70s. I mean, this is now in the 60s. You're talking about now.
No, that's the 60s, 1964.
64.
I hadn't even gone to school yet.
I mean, I was just saying, in the 70s, my folks used to leave us out in the street in the car, sleeping in the car outside. I mean, we would never do it now. My word. Graham Pino says, cheers, Lloyd, you're a legend as well, Graham Pino.
He's part of the Tree Society. That guy, he's a walking encyclopedia.
Is it?
I know trees, but he knows trees, flowers, funguses, butterflies. He was a tour guide in Tsitsikamma for 10 years.
Okay, so he probably knows Wendy as well. Probably. There you go. Santa's Ice saying how's it as well. I see there as well.
She did a lot for tourism and got me into brochure and she gave me confidence with brochure management and Lloyd, you got to do this and just believe me. You know, she was always it was great. Doing it. Great.
Okay, I'm gonna. So what was the last time you were hopelessly lost? How about that? I quite like that one.
Yes, it's now in Kawakaveld.
Kawakaveld.
Up in the Kawakaveld, up in the northwest of Namibia. You're not supposed to go in there in one vehicle. I was in one vehicle, and sometimes
no GPS.
Well, I had one, and I had a phone, but
Yeah, you're gonna get.
I know my trees, so I watch the trees, excepting there's no trees in a lot of those places.
I mean, on the north side, the mosque grows.
Yes, exactly.
And so we just follow that. I don't know. You're taking a bloody chance in Namibia. You could end up like.
Well, I had 7 cases of wine and 200 liters of water, so
you were right.
I was good for a while.
You're right there. Okay, a common myth about your industry. Is there a common myth?
That it's a green industry.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it's not.
Okay, the most uncomfortable place you've ever slept. I think that's quite a nice one for you.
Yes, in a bath at the Butts house. You know Stanley's restaurant? They brought our butts, the butt cats. They're from Kent and they're crazy. I had to sleep in the bath one night. Yeah, that wasn't fun at all.
No, I'm sure that doesn't sound fun. That's fun. Where's your happy place?
Happy place? In my garden.
Where is it?
20 years ago, I decided to plant a coastal forest in Seavey. The whole garden had been destroyed, and there was nothing.
Fire.
And I built. No, people bulldozing their plots. Actually, they don't need this cuck, they just flatten it.
Oh.
So I've planted all the trees that are salt resistant, all endemic, just to
salt
the area.
resistant trees.
Yeah, they have to be because that salt coming off there is just like hectic. So I've built myself this garden, and at night walk around and look at it and plan what I'm going to do with it. Now I'm trimming it up and I'm starting with geophytes. So all your scodoxus, your like the April Fool's lilies, the clivias, all of that.
I know clivia. I don't know the April Fool's lilies.
And all these beautiful. I mean, we've got so much amazing stuff. Green wood orchids and all of that stuff. I'm starting to put in the garden. I've got a little hothouse there. I propagate stuff that we use for our projects, and we give it. It's nice to give.
Yeah.
It is. So that's my happy place, is my house, and that. I've been in a lot of places, but Seaview is an incredible place to live.
Yeah,
everything is there. You can watch the whales from the deck. They come past. I watch the whales coming past. Check at the time. Get in the car. Drive there.
To the boat.
Pick up my guests, and I say, no, I think I've got a good sense for whales. Off to Cape Recife, and you catch the oaks coming past. Where can you find
that's your secret. Magic. Any crazy characters that you come across in your line of work? Do you think of?
Yeah, there's a guy called Neville Aliff. I met him walking the I spent my holidays from Rhodes walking up along the Transkei coast, and one day I met this guy called Neville Aliff. He was the guy in the Captain Morgan rum advert for the common dolphins, and he runs Reef Teach at Sodwana Bay. And he said, "I seen these crazy fish in the estuary." Yeah. And I said, and I went and told him what they were, and we had Smith's book, and we've been mates ever since, and we always trying to outdo each other. So he was he was one of those.
Okay, somebody tag him. He's been called on it. Oh, fantastic! I was sorry to talk about music. The first album that you ever bought.
Demons and Wizards.
Oh, Uriah
Heep, and I'm not bored. Mike Holmes.
Yes,
Mike Holmes had 2, and his mom says to me, Michael doesn't need to hear. Take that, don't even see.
Ah!
So that was it.
Well, I was only 17, fell in love with the Gypsy Queen. I love it. Yeah,
And I went and saw them. I was going diving in Sedwana and Uriah Heep and Deep Purple playing in Durban
Yes, they did.
in 94,
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
95, it was 96.
95.
I was flipping. You know what I did? I went to the bloody UB40 concert. And I should never have gone to that. I should have gone to Deep Purple. It was the same night. It was in the same night. UB40 were crap.
Where were they? Yeah, they are. Where were they playing?
I think at the stadium.
Because they played twice in PE, UB40.
Yeah, no, I didn't go. After that concert, I was like, But I should have gone to Deep Purple in your
Definitely. No, it was cool.
Damn it, I missed it.
We still threw some wine over the fence.
Oh, really?
We went out to take alcohol in. Like one over the other side, like, don't break this now. Over the fence.
Oh, weird. Okay, so that was your favorite. I like that first album. The other, the most amazing. The other thing was your drums. Just before you came in here, he picks up a pair of drumsticks and he's starting to do like rudiments on the table here. You play drums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
I started in the Scottish band, and a guy called Alex Stewart, who was and for 6 months at least, I had to do the Mama Dada. That's the opening, closing drum roll. And everyone else was playing, and he was it's not right yet. And after 6 months, I went on to paradiddle, and that lasted. So eventually, when your rudiments are so good, that when it comes to playing a proper drum, it's like it's a piece of cake.
It's easy, I use the paradiddles and stuff. I still use it on the kit as well. It's great. I started out like that as well at VP. And I went Clarendon. I started with the cadet band, and it was great. It was really good for your basic training for drums. For sure. Favorite restaurant, I suppose, Nolia.
Nolia's and Remo's, I must admit.
Remo's. Dante's been on the show as well.
Is he?
We're going to get Jono on as well. Jono Gunston, we're going to get
good luck with that one.
You've got to tell us his secrets.
You'll catch him. I'll tell him we're going somewhere special.
Is there any scars on you and stories that you got about them?
Scars.
No scars. No dangerous, most painful event in your life.
I tell you, I do remember. I've got a scar right over here. I had a hernia.
Oh yeah.
And people think that kids can't remember stuff when they're small. I couldn't have been a year old, and I distinctively remember being in hospital.
Yeah.
And I was too hot. And I remember they did something to me. But I remember getting my toes under because they crochet these little shoes, and you've got all this. I was boiling, and I remember getting my toes in there and actually pulling these two horrible bloody knitted slippers off, and going, oh, thank God for that. And I was only like one year. So I always, when I see kids stuck in prams and that, I think, this child's getting hot here. It's crying. It's like,
the heat. Remember the heat.
People like that cold, but they don't forget about the heat.
The hernia op is also, it cuts through the muscle. John knows his cousin. Wendy, you're connected to a whole bunch of people as well. Brilliant ship. He is.
Is Wendy a brother of Ian Swanell? Ian Swanell was at Clarendon Park.
It's possible. Wendy, are you Ian's brother? It's quite possible, And Clarendon has been, what a great school.
Oh, brilliant. No,
I was there.
When I started my Baywatch project, the first school I went to was back to Clarendon Park, and I talked to the whole school.
Yeah, it was now
all the kids, 700, all the teachers, and you know what? I was colourblind.
Yeah.
And when I was in Standard 2, we had a teacher there, Miss Pike. She was also our art teacher. And
absolutely.
She gave me
Miss Pike, Miss Rennie.
But one day she says, "What colour did you colour in Vasco da Gama's face?" Now I can't see the difference between blue, purple, pink, green, red, round. So I thought, well, I don't have a pink. Does that look pink to you? But we had to use pink. And I didn't have pink, so I used a light blue. And I coloured it very light. I thought that must be pink. And the teacher said to me, "What?" I said pink. She said she held it up to the class. She said, "Look, class, Lloyd is lying to us." And at that, when I started my thing, I said, "Florian, this thingy, won't you please stand up?"
Yeah.
And she said, and I said, "Okay, guys, listen here. When I was in her class, she made my life a misery because I was colourblind. If there's any of you here that are colourblind, it doesn't matter."
My sons are both colourblind. Oh, yeah, they're both.
I said, "Look, you can do cool stuff. You can play.
You just can't be a pilot.
You can't be a pilot. I can't get night rating. I can't drive a boat at night."
Yeah, okay.
So it's a bit of
it's a bit of a thing. I mean, the boys, both my boys are colourblind. They've got the reds and greens. And my father-in-law was also colourblind. It comes through the genes.
It comes to the female, huh?
Yeah.
So your your
to my
wife will be
wife,
the
yeah.
past. She'll pass it
Yes.
from her dad.
Yeah.
And her kids will either be or not be.
Yes, they were
My
both.
daughter's got the gene. Oh, they were both.
And my father-in-law, I'll never forget him saying in Kenton, we used to go for Kenton holidays every year, and he'd been there for like 50 years, and he said to me the one day, we must just go there through the green door, or go to the red door, and it was a green door. I said, Dad, that's a green door. You've been coming here for like 50 years. The green door, I don't know. He was like, well, kind of loud. There we go. Warm and North, Clarendon, says Mike Punkby.
Yeah.
Indeed. Oh man, Lloyd, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, pleasure.
And thank you for spending your time with us.
Okay.
It's been a bloody marvelous chat, and best of luck for this.
Thank
this
you.
thing.
Yeah, a lot of
We'll support you.
challenges ahead.
We'll support you wherever we can with this situation, with trying to clear the sea of plastic, trying to get those populations up, and it's a winner. And anybody that needs to go on a boat ride any day, it's a very, very good price, indeed. Thank you, Lloyd. All right, where's my mic? Here we go. All right, we got and Lloyd, we're going to give you a little drumming thing as well. I've got a competition that we do, of course, with Fitch and Leeds. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been fantastic. Thank you to Spa, and thank you to Fitch and Leeds, and thank you to Fat Cats, our caterers, and Amobia, our internet service provider, who's been amazing. And then also to Keith Clark. He gives us the punt to the chin, so we can add a bit of, whatever we want to our things. All right, we're going to do the draw like this. We're going to do the draw. All right, everybody that's online has got a chance now. So have a look. Who's going to win? Let's have a look. Who's going to win? It looks like Morgan. Donna Watson is our winner tonight. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Donna, for joining us as well. And you'll get your Fitch and Leeds. We'll get in touch with you, get your address and phone number, and we'll organize you. Thank you so much for joining us on Gino Spot tonight, and we'll see you on Thursday night, where we've got Gavin Cowley coming on. Gavin, is it not?
Next week.
Next week
Tuesday we're Gavin.
Next week Tuesday is Gavin Cowley. Sorry.
Webster.
It's Garth Webster. Oh, sorry, it's Garth Webster this Tuesday. We've got Gavin Cowley next Tuesday. On this Thursday is Garth Webster from Webster's Flooring, the chap that puts those signs out every morning on Main Road Warmer, which everybody tries not to crash when they're coming past. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Fitch and Leeds. Thank you to Spa. And thank you to you guys for joining us. Thank you, Lloyd. It's been fantastic fun. All right. See you on Thursday. Yeah. Remember to subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. To the YouTube. Thank you to Fat Cats. All right. Spend the night with me. Let me play drums to it. There's some drums in here. Where's the drum cap?
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. One drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver, get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino shot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Get to Gino Spot.
Gino Spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Get to Gino Spot.